Alright, so since I had the audio muted for my intro, welcome to RWB International for the 7th and final round of the Balance of Power series. We are at Spa Francorchamps. Tonight's race is an hour and 30 minutes with no mandatory pit stops. Other drivers will more than likely have to make a stop unless they're able to conserve enough fuel and make it the whole way. So if anybody out there wants to jump into the commentator's booth here and help do comms, we would appreciate it. Looking at you, Kaz. Hey, brother Kaz, how are you?
Hey, brother Nate, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, cool.
Looks like Crawford Brown's getting ready to make a move on Godzilla, although he's going to have to take the long way around the corner. Boy, we're not much of commentators, are we?
Well, it's been a year, nearly a year since I commentated last, so I've lost track of what to do and who's even racing these days.
I'm best just doing the cameras.
I'm rooted for Debug today, though. He's doing well.
Yeah, it looks like he's up in the 16th spot.
Yeah, he's been improving every week or so since his sabbatical. Oh, Banks is dropping. Did he go off or was he pushed? Great liveries today.
Alright, well, I'm going to have to get off here and get supper going. Again, if anybody out there wants to jump into the comments booth here and help us out, we'd appreciate it. See ya, guys. I'll be back.
Alright, buddy. See you in a bit. Well, as the spectators may have gathered, I am out of my depths. Very tight battle there for 17th. tight battle for 8th. But while I'm stuck for something to say, I'll give a shout out to our usual sponsors, Racing Sim Tools for really good tuning software, SimSock for driving a tyre, feet a tyre, and we've had some sponsorship from Next Level Racing, who actually very generously donated some equipment for our last charity race. Shout out and respect to those guys. Nice bit of pack racing here. Rick is like a terrier on a rabbit. Oh, I missed that. Looks like we've got a job done. Tripping over each other there. Godzilla's dropped down to 6th, he won't be happy about that. Hey Panda.
I heard we were racing today.
Yeah, and even though I'm in comms, there's very little comms going on.
You know, that's why I'm here, you know, I'm here to help. If you want my help, of course.
Well, I'd be helping you, I'd say. It's been a while. It's nearly a year since I commentated BALLAST, and like I was saying earlier, I hardly know the track corners, by name, and I hardly know half the races, so I'm a bit...
Okay. I only know El Rouge and Radion, that's all.
And bus stop.
Yeah, bus stop. Yeah, the bus stop for Kane, that's a big one. Bus stop for Kane. But hi, folks. My name is Jay, and I know what you're running for me. Hi, Cost. And yeah, hour and 6 minutes left of the commentating. Is that right?
Sorry?
I think it's an hour and 6 left here of the race. Yeah.
Yeah, just over an hour.
Honestly, I do have to say, I have already sweating, and I mean, like, a hard sweating Spa on F1 because I have a league that I drive for. So I'm kind of low-key. I'm kind of tired of the track, but I also know it inside and out. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, who currently has camera control? You know?
Sorry?
You have camera control.
No, I think Nate has, but he's gone to make supper. He'll be back shortly.
Okay, so Ron also can then, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's fine. Okay, well, I'll order Rick Binnersley here. Oh, this is a bad view because Rick Binnersley is chasing someone. But we can only see his back feed. Now there is a battle going on behind him between Peter Varga, Alexander, and I can't say that last name. I don't know how. Kasetarash, I think. We want to see the front of Rick Binnersley, man. It's okay.
Well,
Give us the front.
Rick was behind Varga about 5 minutes ago. He's cleared that pack.
Oh, you overtake him? Okay.
Yeah, he was amongst those guys there, racing for position, and he got past Varga, and since then he's off.
I do have to say, I absolutely love Rick. I have seen quite a few good performances from him, and I do definitely think today, he gets his head down. He can really do things with that mentally.
Do you want to control the cameras?
Yes, please.
All right. Are you going to remote in, or are you going to do it on your end?
I am going to do it on my end because remoting is just a bit more lag. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry, Nate.
Yeah, so I'm going to switch to leader and close out the broadcaster.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Let me just try and hook it up real quick. I'm just going to try and hook it up real quick and just get connected. Thank you, I do appreciate it.
Crawford Brown's chasing down Badowski by the looks of it there. At the front two, yeah.
Look at their
Does
deltas.
Badowski have ballast this race?
I've no idea. I would assume he would.
I haven't been keeping up with the league, man.
Well, Marco's been up in the top 3 consistently, hasn't he? So I would assume he's got some ballast.
Would make sense. I mean, if you're that far up constantly, you would expect some ballast, wouldn't you? Especially out of the league rules. I haven't commentated on Balance of Power for so long. It feels good to be back. Sorry, I couldn't join at the start. I do apologize, I was busy streaming myself. Nate?
Yeah.
I'm trying this IP, man, and it is not working. If you can DM it maybe to me and see, maybe I made a typo, but I've copied and pasted it, and it is not working, I can guarantee that.
Very good battle for first, second, third, and fourth there.
It doesn't connect for some reason. Have you disconnected your side?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure then. You should be able to connect with the racer. This shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, just, it's weird.
you bumped up to 14th. That's interesting. Sort it.
I'm going to try one or two more things my side, but otherwise just going to leave it auto for now. Yeah, okay, I'm just going to try one or two more things. I'm just going to meet myself and
Live stream will be back up shortly here. We gotta leave the server and come back in here, so it'll just be a couple seconds.
Okay.
I have really... We can now have a look at the outside of Gardner's beautiful Lambo. 2.7 seconds in front of him. Sorry, no, 2.6 behind him. And I think in front of him it's like 8 point something seconds. Gardner's having a pretty good race. P26, that's a bit quiet, isn't it? I think he's finding her points that far down, but we'll have a look. We'll see. Maybe he can do something. Maybe he can work some magic in this pit stop phase. Let's go up to Rick Binnersley. Ooh, what's Rick up to? What is Rick up to? Is he still being chased? He isn't. Of course, he isn't pulling much of a gap, is Rick? You know, I think he's trying his best, but I think he got past the pack, and now he's struggling to, you know, actually get a gap on them. Tyron's still what, 7 tenths behind? Yeah. And then Alexander's almost 6 tenths behind him.
Well, I mean, they're all good racers in that pack behind him. You know, they're not going to give up. And I'd say at this stage of the race, tyre management's got to be an issue.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think they would have hoped that they, you know, hopefully, you know, kind of save their tires at the start of the race. You know, so they can, you know, phase them in a bit easier here, because if they didn't save their tires and, you know, they burned them out, this is going to be a very tough race for them, isn't it? I do want to have a look at Alexander and Oliver Curtin, actually. Just is then Jack Alexander. Now, right behind him is Mr. Oliver Curtin. Now, he might look a bit far back, but I think that Oliver might, because Oliver is really fast on his day, so I think Curtin might just be, you know, waiting for that back up front, maybe to make 1 or 2 mistakes, and then he might just glide in there. Definitely a possibility, you know. As you said, they're all very good racers, and, you know, to have them racing this close quarters. As I say that one of them makes a mistake, does Oliver touch? No, he doesn't. That was Jay Alexander who made a mistake. Oliver is now on him. That's all he needed. Commentary's blessing, I guess, for Curtin. Yeah, but that's all that Curtin needs, isn't it, Cos? I mean, he's just kind of waiting for him to make a mistake, and then once they do, he can just kind of snap into it and bite into it, you know?
Well, he'll get the slipstream now as well, along the straight there.
I don't even think that Lambo needs a slipstream. That Lambo is so fast. But as we look up ahead, move being made on Rick Bittersea by Tyre, and Tyre just can't quite get it done. But he did pull alongside there for a split second. Definitely, yeah, he's definitely telling Rick, hey Rick, I'm still here. Don't get too cocky. Yeah, I think he definitely knows. I think Rick knows that he has that Lexus behind him, and I don't think he is chill just quite yet about it. I think he's gonna take quite a while to get used to that Lexus being that close behind him. If he isn't already, of course. And he might already be. Maybe he's used to it. Maybe not. We'll see. I'll ask him after. Ask him after. But further then, let's have a look. I think down the field more. Yeah, let's have a look down the field. Damien Wolf, P18, trying to wrestle Nielsen here. And trying to catch up to him, actually, right about a second behind, trying to get that position from Nielsen, moving to P17. For Cos, I do want to ask, do you by chance know how the point system works in this league?
I don't offhand, not without my sheet, and
Okay.
I haven't got a sheet.
No, but I can't. Honestly, I can't imagine. You know, at those. You know, if you're a P17, P18, I can't imagine you're fighting for many points. You know, if at all, if you are fighting for points. I think it's definitely, unfortunately, you know, one of those things is you're kind of more battling for honor, isn't it? At that point, you're not honor, but more ego. You know, I'm kind of faster than you, and that's, yeah, I don't know. These drivers, as long as they're enjoying themselves, but I think it's once you're down that far down the grid, I think you definitely start to struggle, and you start to kind of just settle into your own race, not you're really thinking about overtaking many people. You're just kind of wanting to keep your own position and keep your own pace.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's even with, you know, guys who've been racing for a long time, it's still a learning process as well. You know, learning the cars and the tracks and other drivers. On the points level, I would assume, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, but I would assume it's very similar to standard racing. The top 10 get the points divided amongst them.
We're assuming it's either top 10 or top 15, that kind of range, which, once again, is still extremely hard because, you know, as you said, this is such a good grid. So, you know, if you have to reach that, you know, top 10, top 15, it's quite a bit of a task, isn't it? You know, if you aren't the fastest man on the grid, it can get quite a bit of a task trying to break through and trying to get somewhere, if that makes sense. I think, you know, these drivers definitely trying a hard time, putting in everything, but especially at a track like Spa, you want to start up as high as possible, because the higher you start up, the better there is a chance of you finishing in the points. I think, you know, these drivers at that point, you know, I think a lot of them have kind of made peace with it and said, listen, I'm just going to try my best, and, you know, race my own race. And I think that's the best they could do. I don't think, you know, if you're P17, P18, I don't think there's too much of a need. I think you should still be pushing, but I don't think there's too much of a need to be, you know, deadly stressing yourself about getting all those positions immediately.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm rooted for debug because, you know, he's been improving. He had quite a while off from racing, and he's only been back recently, but he's been improving every week. And he started down 16th, 17th, or 18th, it was today, and now he's worked his way up to 12. So, you know, he was saying last night, I think it was, in Discord that, you know, he knows he's getting better, and he's just happy to improve.
The thing is, for a lot of these drivers, you know, unfortunately for a lot of these drivers, what happens is, you know, they have a lot of talent. Like, you know, really, I mean, you know, we've seen some major talent, but, you know, their either doesn't really come, you know, sometimes doesn't come to potential, sometimes, you know, they take a break off racing. So I think it's definitely, for some of these drivers, I think it's definitely really hard for them, you know, to kind of get to where they want to be. And I think, you know, for someone like Debo to see, you know, he's in the P12, I think that gives them a lot of boost. I think that, you know, shows them, listen, I have the pace, I can do this, and it kind of just gives them the confidence and says, listen, I might still be out of the points, but I can do this. I have hope. I have passion. Let's see what I can do. And I think that's what important racing, especially in a league like this.
Well, like you say, we have a lot of talented racers in our club, and we spend a bit of time on Discord consoling people or trying to help them to realise that it's not that they're slow. There was somebody the other day, oh, I'm not doing very well, I'm slow, I can't seem to get a grip, and we have a lot of talent in this club. So just because you're slow doesn't mean you're slow. It just means that the guys ahead of you are really fast.
That's the thing. But the thing is, about a community, especially RWB, is, a lot of communities, would get to a point where they're like, oh yeah, you're slow, we're not really gonna help you deal with it, watch a few videos, see what you can do. But, for those who haven't been in RWB, it's really more of a family, if that makes sense. Everyone tries to help everyone. If someone really needs help, you help them, and that's something important. I think for a lot of these racers, they might be unsure of their pace, or unsure of themselves, and they kind of have a place to say, listen, if I need help, I know a place where I can go. They'll help me. They'll give me what I need, and I'll be able to move forward. I think that's something that definitely makes RWB special. But I think that's something these drivers really rely on as well. In their sim racing careers, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, as we've always said, we're here to help. If someone's struggling, we'll point them in the right direction. We have driving trainers who dedicate time to help people improve their, driving lines, etc. So, like you say, it's a very good community. We do care about everybody. Just because you're slow doesn't mean we're going to forget you. In fact, we put more time into people who are slower, because the ones that are fast don't need assistance. Anyway, I've just got to nip off and stoke the fire. We're back in a second.
Okay, I will see you in 2 seconds then. Everyone, so let's run you through your top 10. P1 then, M. Badowski, followed by C. Brown. Emma Plate taking that final podium position, and then P4 comes Eddie Warden. P5 Sojblom, P6 RWB Godzilla or Kai Banks, P7 Kruger, P8 Rick Bittersley, P9 is Jay Alexander, and P10 or Tyre. That is only your P10, only your top 10. Right outside of the top 10 until the top 15, we have Tyron, Barton, Debug, Gretschel, Agaris, and Varga, and then the rest of the field goes. Let me get this up real quick. The rest of the field goes Casper Nielsen, Damien Wilk, Amir, RWB Pinpoint, Magnus Dahlgren, RWB Flack, Kevin Shepard, Mad Al, Miku Sky, Al Cartner, Xavier Eugenie, Richard Jones, Oliver Curtin, unfortunately for him, down in P28. Not quite sure if he made a pit stop or something. Might be the only thing that could explain it. And then Matt Sojblom, of course. Nico Perez and Nigel Wood then look as they're retiring in the pits. Up ahead, though, currently focusing on the battle for, I would say, P2 here. Going between Warden, Eddie, and Crawford. And I think that's Crawford. Yeah, it's Crawford. I think I said Chris earlier. I might have said Chris Brown. Not quite sure. But Crawford Brown. Yeah, all three really talented drivers. Definitely something to keep an eye on during the race. I think Badowski has kind of found his. Badowski has definitely found somewhere. He's kind of found his pace and kind of found a place to, where he knows how to keep Brown off his tail. So I think Badowski should keep the lead here for a bit. We'll see. Maybe Crawford goes for something. Maybe he does. Does he go for something? I think he doesn't know, because he doesn't just yet. Yeah, the Ferrari is a bit sharper on brakes. For those who haven't actually, been on ACC before, the Ferrari tends to be a bit sharper on the brakes than McLaren. McLaren more of a stable, bit of a bulkier car. It's not a bulkier car, but I would say it isn't as deadly sensitive as the Ferrari sometimes can be. Now looking down the field, let's have a look at Godzilla. Kyberts, being followed there by Kruger, and he is definitely, he's narrowly being followed. Kruger really on his butt, and definitely chasing him down. Godzilla I think he's under a bit of pressure. At a track like Spa, it's definitely something else to have someone on your ass like that, constantly nibbling away at you. As I say that though, Debug actually has a drive-through penalty. that is not going to help his P12.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you got to drive through. I think it was track limits, but yeah, definitely not ideal for him, is that cause. We were just talking about how good he was doing, and now he's already done that. Let's have a look down at Rick Binnersley before we get to debug. I think, has Rick been overtaken by Alexander? I think he has. I could have, no, wait. Was Alexander in front or behind of Rick? He was in front, right? Oh, I can't remember now.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Oh, there's contact. There's contact between the two. Rick just a bit faster on the throttle, and Alexander can't keep his pace. Is Rick going for the move? He's going to try around the outside here. He's try the outside, pushing that GTR to its limits. Rick was on the turf. He doesn't go there quite yet, and Rick does get the move done. But Alexander now on pressure from Tyre. Can Tyre get past? It looks like Tyre will get past. In a straight line speed battle now. It looks like that GTR might have a bit more under its hood. Let's have a look what's going to happen here. GTR, of course, the inside first corner, but he takes it long, and that is the Lexus of Tyre pass. That means Alexander now falls down to P10. Rick now secures his place in the top 10 into P8. What a battle. Absolutely amazing, Cos.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some pace, that Bentley, hasn't it?
Honestly, the thing about the Bentley is a lot of people judge it for being so, kind of bulky and heavy. But I can genuinely tell you, someone like Rick, that Bentley can drive. If you really, put it in the right place, it can definitely drive, I'll tell you that.
Hasn't got the acceleration. I did notice when he was chasing Varga in a Ferrari, it hasn't got the acceleration out the corners the Ferrari has, but it's got some hell of a mid-range top-end speed.
The thing is, he might not have the acceleration, but once he actually gets up to speed, he is
exactly,
a speedy bastard, I can tell you that. But to be quite fair, Tyre in his Lexus has been looking at Binnersley all race and just hasn't quite been able to do something. And I am thinking that, unironically, that is something to do with the Bentley being, a bit wide. Because, that Bentley, because it's, kind of so wide and whatnot, and so sharp on brakes as well, I think Tyre has genuinely struggled to kind of find a place where he can make a lunge on Binnersley to get that P8, or to get the next position.
Yeah, then he's got to hang on to it.
That is the hard part. Overtaking is already difficult, but hanging on to your position, that's, I think, one of the most difficult things in racing that we've seen, especially in sim racing. In sim racing, it can really get tight. When it comes to holding on to positions.
Oh, there's rain.
I just wanted to point that out. That is, ladies and gentlemen, rain, and for the next 10 minutes, it's been forecasted get very, very rough, and then it will get lighter again. So, cause we can see one of two options now. Either we can see the drivers pit for wet tires for 10 minutes, right? Or, for 10 to 20 minutes. Or we could see one of two of them staying out, playing it risky, and hoping that the rain isn't as bad as ACC says it will be, and that they will be able to push through the dry on those tires. But our top three currently, P2 to P4, all saying, no thanks, we're gonna pit. Grover Brown, Plate, and Warden, all three pitting. But look at that, cause, for instance, like Marco Bidowski not pitting just yet. He's saying, no, this is fine. Rain isn't that much. I can still deal with this. Why do you think he'd do something like that?
Well, he obviously feels it's not slippy enough to change tyres. I mean, it's the good thing about Spa, it's a pretty fast circuit. It hasn't got that many corners, really.
That is quite true. Hopefully for him, it does pay off. Hopefully for him, yeah.
Debug's cleared his penalties in 20th now.
It's not ideal for Debug, but maybe he could make up some time in this wet weather. As we see Bidowski's back end there stepping out just a bit. I think it's time for wet tires, cause I do think it's time for wet tires. And I think Bidowski might have lost more time than he thought he would have gained, which would theoretically give Crawford, I think, that would theoretically give Crawford a net P1 currently. Oh yeah, look at him sliding just a bit there. I want to have a look at Tyre still chasing Binnersley. And I think Tyre has realized now, Cost, that he doesn't have a lot of time to finish this move. For the simple reason, once it gets wet, the Bentley tends to perform a lot better than a lot of other cars. You know, I just think it's just, you know, oh, I think Tyre went a bit wide there. You know, it's just kind of a performance thing. So I think, because Tyre might be stressing a bit. I mean, we see him not take lines he usually would. And I think that's because he's realized that, you know, his time to overtake Binnersley might be a bit too late, unfortunately.
He's getting closer by the looks of it.
He's now dropped back to a second behind Binnersley, apparently, according to the timing screens. Yeah, 9.1 temps, 9.2 temps.
It looks like everyone's pitted.
Almost everyone has pitted, except this man, Rick Binnersley. He still needs to pit. I think Kruger also needs to pit. And Godzilla now into the pits as well. So I think Samuel Kruger is the only one. Badowski also pitted. Gonna be interesting to see where he comes out. I am gonna watch him for a second here, because I do want to see where does Badowski exit the pits here. Looks like he's just entering, so we'll see where he comes out. But his ideal thing would be as close to Crawford Brown as possible. And we'll see if he can make that work somehow. I have a slight feeling inside of me, cause that he might have pitted a bit too late, but we'll have a look. We will have a look. Maybe he's just doing a splash and dash, changing the tires real quick. We wouldn't know.
Well, like you say, it's constantly raining, so the track's going to get wetter and slippier, so I think everybody's going to have to pit for wet soon.
We might see some brave souls. I mean, you know, if all I'm saying is, if you're currently, you know, in P23 like Flack, you know, a pit stop, you know, you might say, okay, listen, I'm going to deal with the rain. You know, a pit stop might be the bad, because look at the weather forecast. In 10 minutes, it has already been forecasted that it will be getting lighter. So I think that Badowski might have just fitted these tires a bit too late. Unfortunately for him, because if he did fit them a bit too late, that would mean that he might not get as much performance out of them as Crawford does, and you know, he might lose a bit of time. As I said that, however, I don't know what's happened, but somehow Badowski has still come out in front of them. Cause what did I miss? How else?
I think they pitted as well.
Oh no!
That's Lexus gone off.
I have no idea whose Lexus that was. I don't know whose Lexus that was. Oh no. I have absolutely no idea whose Lexus that was. I think that was Emil Sojblom, maybe? Emil? Question? Yeah, that was definitely Emil. Oh, look at that. That's not good for Emil. He was one of the top runners. And
I look at the spray now as well. It's getting quite wet, that track.
We are going to watch. Sorry, I do want to see if I can get a replay here. Oh, I think it might be a bit too long. It is 60 seconds, so we'll just have a look here. I do just want to see what happened. You know, I think it might help us understand a bit. And that's the dangers of a wet track, isn't it? You know, especially if you're just coming out of the pits. Is, you know, because if those tires, you know, those tires aren't warm at all. So if you know, use more grip than you have, you could quite, you know, you could get in quite a bit of a predicament. I'll have a look here what happens. He exits behind the McLaren into that turn, loses it, and just, yeah, goes into the wall, just loses the front end now. Unfortunately.
Bit of a Max Verstappen moment.
And honestly, my heart was torn. For any of those who did watch that.
No, it's best not to say anything, because don't want any spoilers in the chat. Somebody pointed out earlier, no spoilers in the chat.
Okay. But, boss, between me and you, I'm broken. I'm not gonna say of what. I'm not gonna say of what. I'm not gonna say of, you know, anything that happened. But I'm broken. So, leaving it there. You guys can't say I gave you any spoilers, because I didn't. Didn't give you a single spoiler. As we see the last people pit now, Kruger, Tyre, and Varga now all pitting. Rick Binnersley actually coming out in 10th, but he should hopefully be able to make that time up when he passes Kruger, Tyre, and Varga in the pits. See what he does. But look at this. Warden's car, I think, or sorry, Solsblom's car is absolutely smashed up because that Ferrari of Emo is just catching up to him so fast, isn't it? Because really just pushing boundaries. And as we say that, the Ferrari goes past. Emo goes past like nothing. Yeah.
Can we get an onboard of Solblom's so we can see what way his wheel's pointing?
Yeah, let's have a look at here. It looks like his
it's not too bad.
It's like his wheel is straight, but I think he might have damaged his suspension itself.
Yeah.
The car might not be. Yeah, look at that. He isn't even confident enough to go for. Going 4th gear flow, which that's. Yeah, even in the wet, that's not me. Even in the wet, you want to at least go for it. So, yeah, definitely, Emil's race, unfortunately, just took a turn for the worse. And I think that's something he's unfortunately not forget. But Kruger now actually getting out in front of him. Yeah, look at this. Emil just. I don't know. Because I think Emil might be waiting for a dry period and hoping to box in.
That's what I was just thinking. Box for dry tyres and fix the damage.
Damage is at least a minute's worth of repair, so I think if he boxes after his lap, I think the good play for him would now be to box after his lap, put on dry tyres, get his car fully repaired, and then go around. He should be able to make up a lot more time that way. Yeah, definitely not ideal. Unfortunate for Emil. But yeah, it just shows you, those drivers are amazingly good. Things can turn around just in a snap of a finger. Unfortunately. Looking now at our race leader, Marko Badalski, so I thought he pitted too late, but turns out, cause he pitted right at the exact time, because he's a 3.5 second gap to Crawford.
That's amazing, isn't it?
That is absolutely amazing. And he's coming up on back markers here. I mean, that genuinely does show you, doesn't it? I mean, maybe Podolski's pace is better in the wet, but it just genuinely shows you that something, like this is really, how can I say this? It's up to, it has a lot of factors, let's say it like that. It's depending on a lot of factors, and I think Podolski has shown sometimes those factors, if you, play the odds, and you take a bit of a chance, sometimes they can play into your hands, which is absolutely amazing. Also, I do just want to say, cause we might have to say hi to people. We currently have 8 people watching. Hi everyone, how are you guys doing? We hope you are doing extremely well. Good to have everyone here. Less than 35 minutes now left of the race, 33 minutes and 33 seconds. But yeah, Badalski comfortably leading. Not a worry in the world. Right behind him, Crawford Brown, this man in the McLaren. Eddie Warden then behind, quite a bit behind. We'll see what he can do. And then Emo Plate being followed by Samuel Kruger, I believe that is. Yes, it is. And Samuel, is he going to go for a move? I think he is. Cos, is he going for a move? Will he go for it?
Watch that outside off the racing line where it's wet.
Yeah, because it's so slippery, and he's still going to go for it, I think. Emo playing up to the right, and I think Emo kind of just gave him that position, didn't he? He didn't even fight that. Emo just kind of gave Kruger the position.
Yeah, he's got damage of some sort, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's either that or he said, listen. It could have been that, or he said, listen, I'm not the best in the wet. Give me a dry track, then I'll catch up to you. It might have been that as well. He might, be playing a bit of a more long-term game here. But Emil Solsblom, the one man, for some reason, still out on this track. Emil, pit, please. It's gonna go dry any second. Pit, get your car repaired. Come on, we're waiting for you. But then behind him, Godzilla. What is God? But see, this is my thing. Look at how fast. Actually, Rick Bittersley, I think, has passed Godzilla. Yes, he has. Our boards have not updated yet, but Rick Bittersley has passed Godzilla. And that is the thing that I think, people like Emo should, or people with damage on these should be scared of. Because just look at how fast some of these cars are catching. As we see Godzilla going wide there, extremely wide actually, and just losing a place to Barton, I think that was as well. I'm not quite sure.
I would imagine that the slower guys are still on wets. They're just gambling that it's not going to be too wet for too long, so they're staying out on wets rather than do 2 pit stops and change tyres constantly.
I assume you mean dries, not wets.
Yeah.
Oh, as we see Godzilla squaring up Barton now. Barton, wait on him. That's what Barton can do. Look at that. Godzilla's, I think he's definitely on the dries, isn't he? Because
I would say so.
He's losing so much pace. I mean, look at Barton's, I don't say acceleration. I mean, his speed through the corners are absolutely amazing. What a race today, cause I mean, these drivers really showing ingenuity, really showing, you know, how much it takes to be a similar racing driver, but it's, you know, not just turning a wheel and hoping for the best. And as Barton now squares up Godzilla, will he get the move done? Godzilla defending, he has the inside then, and there's contact. Oh, there's contact, and Barton now has to go wide. He might get that position back. I think if he doesn't concede that position, the stewards are gonna have to look into that, because Godzilla, I think, was still ahead at the time that Barton went off. So I think Barton might have to give that position back. If he doesn't, it'll probably be a post-race penalty, I think. As Barton now passes Emil Sojblom, who's Emil's still for some reason, you know, out. And now Emil is getting passed by Godzilla. Godzilla, we think, still on dry tires. Emil is not having the best of days, is he? Cause
he's just hanging in there.
Definitely hanging for all he can. Godzilla comfortably gets past. Yeah, not really a challenge in any sort of way. Let's have a look at ammo plate, actually. Ammo, I just want to focus. Yes, there's ammo. Ammo is in a pretty nice position, isn't he? He's in P3, and you know he's just kind of racing his own race. You know, and if he sees Badowski pitting, he can, you know, and Brown pitting, he still has overly enough time to react to them pitting. So I think, Cos, that Warden, Eddie Warden, I'll go up to him in a second, because I was talking about him, I don't know why that, sorry, completely lost my first train of thought there. Eddie Warden, running P3, I think he still has a chance to get this lead, I'm gonna say, because I genuinely think that if Eddie keeps himself clean for the next, you know, 10-20 minutes, I think he could genuinely still win this race. I do think he still has the potential for it. That pit stop phase is going to be absolutely crucial.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was a bit slippery there through one of the corners. I wonder if he was on dries as well.
Honestly, I think some of these drivers, I think the pit stops they made might have more been for damage or feel than it might have been for tires. I think a lot of them might still be staying out on those dry tires and hoping that it clears up anytime soon, which it should be. I don't see as much rain anymore, so I think it is definitely clearing up. But the biggest thing is, Cos, now is these drivers, unfortunately for them, even, you know, when they go back on those dry tires, those dry tires are going to be absolutely, you know, they're going to be really worn out, aren't they? You know, although the rain would have, you know, spared them a bit of tire wear, those tires are still going to be in a horrible shape.
Still a lot of standing water by the looks of it. There's spray being thrown up in the corner, so I'd, you know, if I was on wets, I'd stay out till they start getting hot. Or just drive on the wet. That's what they normally do, isn't it? If you're on wet tyres and the track's drying out, just drive on the wet all the time. Stay off the racing line.
I think we might start to see that warming up that you're talking about now, because the race director now telling us that it is now full dry conditions. I'm not lying to you, Wolf. It is at the top, you can see there. Apparently, it is now going over to dry transition. So this is now the transition period. So now the question is, what are these drivers going to do? When are they going to do it? how are they going to do it? And those, who stayed out on those dry tires, are they going to gain a massive lead? I think the car is 67 car. Not quite sure who that is, but 67 car. Richard Jones there. Not quite sure what happened with Richard. Richard, can we get a replay, please? Mr. Richard, can we... Coming through here, sticking it. What happens? And I think... What happens? Does he touch the curb and go off? Yeah. Oh, look at that. No. That's so bad.
Ouch.
Oh, that's a big punt. Touches that. And that has a thing about Spa as well. Normally the curbs are leaf, but when it comes to the wet, holy crap, it's even worse, isn't it? It's just worse and worse and worse. I think that was a lot of, I think, right in front of him, that should be the Lexus of Nielsen, I think. It hasn't updated just yet. But yeah, no, that must have been a hit for Jones. A front hit like that, it scoops up a lot of your positions. Or, sorry, not a lot of positions, like a lot of, your driving style techniques. And he's definitely going to have to try and deal with that as good as he can. Godzilla now, in a battle here, with, I think that's Barton. Yes, it is. Barton gets past. But I can definitely see the track slowly starting to dry up here, boss.
Yeah, it's still damp. It says it's damp, and it looks damp. Apart from the racing line, of course.
I think, honestly, in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I think that state is going to change from damp, and it's going to change to something a bit drier. State is maybe a bit drier. But Godzilla now going for a move again on Tyre. Can he make it done? No, he cannot. Doesn't really have quite the confidence yet to go through El Ruz as fast as Tyre does. But I think as that track gets drier and drier, I think he will slowly build up confidence. Now, of course, my question is to you, is as a driver, do you risk it now, pit early, and hope that in the next few minutes the track dries out? What's kind of the strategy? What do you do?
Well, if I was on wet, I'd just stay off the racing line and just drive on the wet, keep those tyres as cool as possible, and see how it pans out. Because, it's still 25 minutes under, so anything can happen.
Anything can indeed happen. We won't see rain again for this race, but we will definitely see a lot of action. And may I just mention real quick, and we didn't cover this, I do apologize, Crawford Brown somehow getting past Badowski. And this leads me to believe, could Badowski possibly be on dry tires? Is that a possibility? Or is he just, not very confident in wet?
Or he could be on wet tyres that have got really hot.
But the thing is he's been he lost a lot of time to Crawford for that whole stint. And he's using time to warn him. And as far as we know, both Crawford and Warden both on wet tires. So what is happening with Badowski? Have a look.
Maybe he made a mistake. I mean, Crawford's not slow by any stretch.
But
maybe Crawford made a mistake. Maybe Badowski made a mistake. Had a bit of a moment.
See if we can get one of two of them in for interviews. As I said, everyone, I have not been part of the Balance of Power series. I have absolutely missed it with all of my heart. But it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Definitely good to see the league again. I hope you guys have missed me a slight bit. But to be quite fair, Badowski is still kind of keeping up with Crawford. Not totally, but he is still, keeping Crawford in eyes in eye views distance. So we'll see. I think as we see the sun coming out now, I think this is going to be a very crucial stage for drivers to try and do something, and we'll see if they can.
I would say Badowski is on wet tires. I had seen him looking for some water there.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I noticed him drive on the wet line rather than the race line a minute ago.
Do we actually think Badowski is on the wet tires?
Yeah.
Okay. So wait, so is Crawford down? Are we thinking Crawford is on the dry tires, or is he also on the wet tires? Because that's the one thing I wasn't sure of. Because I could have sworn Crawford and Warden both pitted.
I mean, it could be Podolski's on dry tires and he overestimated his tire PSI. Now he's looking for water to help keep him underinflated or to lose some pressure in him.
Definitely as well. Hey, we'll see, because the track is now lighting up. We see the sun coming out, and what a beautiful day it is for racing here at Spa. 21 minutes left here of the race of the Balance of Power Series, round 7. What a race it has been. What a race it is. Yeah, I mean...
Oh, sorry.
Hi, Rob.
Yeah, no worries. I'm back. I've got a slightly improvised setup I should add at this stage, so apologies if I can't offer too much in the way of constructive feedback, but from what I've heard, it sounds as if we should be in for an absolutely cracking last 20 minutes here at Francorchamps, with the change and ball track conditions and everybody on different tyres as well.
Exactly, it is definitely true. I mean, currently, Rob, the people running from dries are hoping this track dries out as quick as possible, which it is doing, and the people on the wets are hoping it doesn't, because they still need to make a pit stop, and I think some of them might have waited a bit too long. Personally, I think, do you think there was 1 or 2 risk takers that pitted a bit earlier? But it's definitely, you can see some bits of water. With this sun coming up, we've seen ACC weather change, and I think when this clock strikes 20 minutes, I think a lot of this track is going to be very, very, very dry.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Panda. I think the way ACC is, and I mean, to be fair, I don't blame the teams and drivers for wanting to have a bit of a crack with trying to stay out for as long as possible. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like they say on certain football game franchises, if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the raffle. But at the same time, you're right, it is going to be quite nerve-wracking in terms of pit strategy as well, and trying to make sure you get into the pits at the right time to change onto the dry tyres for the last 20 minutes we have here at Francorchamps.
Well, if Podolski is on wets, I think he is going to have no choice but to pit.
No, he definitely will. Do we have any idea on Brown and Warden, what tires there are? Because it's looking like Brown's on dry tires, but I just don't quite know where he would have put on dry tires. I mean, he could have went that whole wet period with dry tires, but that's, that would be an amazing feat. If he does end up winning this race, I think that's definitely something I'll have to ask him, because it's, absolutely amazing. Crawford is, Brown's praise that he's pulling out of the bag. Well done to him. I don't think it's a lot of things we see from these drivers. I see someone exit the pits now. I'm not quite sure which Porsche that is, but it was a lab Porsche of some kind. So I think that was Agris, actually. I think, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think with the track now saying greasy, and with the track temperature up to 29, air temperature up to 22, and that wind at 1 kilometer an hour, I think stronger wind would be helpful. I think that the pit window might be now. I think if these drivers don't pit now, we're going to see a very interesting last 15 minutes, as Rob, as you said.
Yeah, it's looking... The track itself right now is looking, from what I can see on my phone at the moment, really quite dry. I know it's showing the track conditions as greasy, but there is what is looking like a very, very dry line approaching. I mean, we just look as they come out of No Name Corner. There's half the circuit is dry, half the circuit is wet. So it does look as if now might well be actually the ideal time to change tyres, to put the slicks on, and hope you've got a stable enough car to be able to keep it on that narrow, dry line.
Well, Marco's got 32 seconds to 4th place, so he could throw a last 50-minute legend race in and catch up, but it's a bit of a stretch.
It looks like Warden got around Podolski now too.
It makes... I mean, honestly, it is possible. It's going to be very hard. It's about 2-3 seconds a lap. maybe Ballast has that pace. You know, I've seen some really fast performances from him, so have a look. But the other thing is, what we have to take in mind here is, everyone, is the fact that one way or another, if these drivers, you know, staying out on the dry side. Oh no, actually, as you see, Crawford pit. Am I watching the right screen? I'm watching the right screen, right? That is Crawford Brown pitting.
Yeah.
And Warden staying out for another lap. I think that might be his demise. And behind Crawford, we should see a Mr. Badowski coming out. So, gents, I don't think Crawford was on dry tires. I think both him and Badowski were on wet tires, meaning Crawford somehow pulled out an amazing amount of pace in that last stint. Really well done to Crawford. That's something you don't see a lot.
Oh yeah, Marco's in the pit behind him. Oh, it's a drive-through by the looks of it.
Is it? Yeah, it's a drive.
Well, they didn't stop for tyres. Oh, there's another section on the pits though, isn't it, on this
one?
one?
There's another section, sorry. Just needed to remember that there for a second. Yeah, sorry, I was just about to say, is he serving a drive-through that he doesn't have? Is that what?
I made that mistake in the Spa race. I forgot there was another set of pits, and I went edge of the pits. I thought I'd missed my pit box, and I couldn't work out what was going on. So I quit from the race, and then realised there was more pits around the corner.
No, that's bad. That's so bad. But Mark Badowski now also putting into the pits. And now this game of, does anyone need to fill up their car? Does anyone need to repair their car? Let's see. Warden should go out first, but let's see if Badowski can get the jump on him. Yeah, definitely quite a race. Quite a race. But now, has Samuel pitted? Actually, I'm not quite sure. I think Samuel might still be on his wet tires. But yeah, no, this is where it gets stressful, because these drivers have now put everything in. They've been racing so perfectly for an hour and 15 minutes, and now everything is coming down to these last few minutes, isn't it, guys? Rick Binnersley, up to P3, you know, I think once he pits, actually challenging a Ferrari there up Emma Plate. I think, has Rick pitted? I've lost count of who's pitted and who's not pitted. I think he still needs to pit, but I mean, someone like Rick Binnersley, really happy, isn't he, guys? You know, in his position, he's in a decent
awesome
position.
race from Rick.
Exactly, and even if he boxes now, he'll still be in the, you know, in the top 10. So I think he is incredibly happy, and I think he's definitely taking that as a win, even if it isn't a race win. I think he's definitely taking that as a win.
Is it me or is the stream a bit stuttery?
It is a tad stuttery, it happens now and then, don't worry. Get used to it. I do want to have a look then at Crawford Brown and Mark Badowski. Crawford coming out in front, of course, with Badowski quite a bit behind, about 7 seconds that is behind. So we'll see if Badowski can start making that up. Yeah, they're gonna be tight here. See what they can do, but that Ferrari, of course, extremely good around Spa, but so is that McLaren. So we'll see who has a lot more pace, or who doesn't have a lot more pace, and we'll see what happens between the two of them, won't we? And also have a look at Pinpoint. Pinpoint has kind of had a really quiet race this race, hasn't he?
He's had a yo-yo race. He was down at the back at the first half of the race. He's worked his way back up.
Exactly. He has worked his way back up, but the thing is, you know, at this point he's kind of in the middle of nowhere. You know, he's just kind of driving his own race. You know, so extremely well done for him to work his way up. But I think currently he's gonna try it as close to Emil as possible. Emil, of course, unfortunately had that damage. That, you know, kind of affected him majorly. Is that damage repaired, do we think, Cos?
I hope so. Where is he? Oh, he's 10th.
Oh,
yeah.
That damage does not look repaired to that.
Sometimes it doesn't always update on the client side.
You know what? He looks fast, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Blom is repaired. Let's see what he can do. Oliver Curtin, he is a very happy man, I think. I hope. Because if Oliver has done this right, he should, and I'm reading this right, he is only 6 seconds behind Marco Badowski, who was theoretically leading this race. So if Oliver can keep up with Marco, or even maybe start catching him, this could be a really nice race, couldn't it, for Oliver? Who's in front? Eddie Warden. I want to have a look at Eddie. What is Eddie doing? Eddie's falling a bit behind. Yeah, Eddie falling a bit behind, not too much though. Did he have a?
Yeah, Eddie came into the pits the last lap.
Okay, came into the pits. I was just about to say because he wasn't there, but it's good for him to pit as well. Right in front of Oliver, so I think him and Oliver will probably have a bit of a duel here in a second. If Oliver can catch him, that is. Of course, Eddie, an extremely fast driver. A lot of people using the Lexus today, aren't there, Nate? Because I've never seen so many people use the Lexus before. I didn't know it was this popular. People obviously love it. Why, I would not know, but
it's a stable car. I mean, it's a decent car to drive. It's like the Aston Martin and the AMG. They're pretty stable.
it's quite true, to be quite fair. That is one thing we unfortunately haven't seen yet, is an AMG.
I was going to say there's not in the race by the looks of it.
I don't see an AMG. I only see one Audi, and I see the only BMW I see on the field is Xavier Eugene. These they're very odd. None of your usual cars are in here. Well, of course there are one or two in like McLaren and Ferrari. Yeah, definitely. Some more popular ones not in here. Those might be the drivers saying, just because it's popular, it might not be good. And I mean, hey, good to them. Well done to them. Warden has already pulled a bit of a gap here on Curtis, keeping it, I think, keeping it tight in the straight. So we'll see what happens there. But I think if Warden keep up this pace in the corners, he might have a very good chance at doing really well in this race. Nate, I do have a question for you. Do you know how the point system works in the Balance of Power?
Haven't a clue.
We'll have to. I'll ask the race director sometime. Have a chat with them. Oh, you know what? You know what we do need for these races that I think we desperately need? I do think we need a safety car. I think that would definitely shake things up. I know we talked about it a bit ago, but that's still something, man. We need to see that in RWB. A proper safety car. That could be really fun.
Well, we've had one before, and there are rules for for yellow flags.
So I'm going to assume that the winner of the race gets 190 points for the standing. That's how it was for the first 6 rounds, although there was 2 races in the first 6 rounds.
Okay. That's perfect. Well, currently then, folks, we are looking at Mr. Who's that? Samuel Kruger leading the field, aiming at 190 points.
2 seconds back to Emil.
Wow, absolutely amazing driving, Samuel. Really putting its heart into this. Even if he does get overtaken by Emil looks like he is closing. Yeah, what a race. To give you an idea, no wait, that isn't Emil, that's Emo. Emo played last lap almost a second faster on that lap than Kruger. So Kruger, brilliant race, but just not quite on the pace. Let's see Emo go through here. I think he might go to the next straight. After El Rouge, he might duck. Oh no, he doesn't. Sorry, he goes up alongside for El Rouge. Is he? Oh my word, he somehow gets that move done before El Rouge. I have never seen that as an overtaking spot.
I wonder if Kruger just gave him some room, knowing that he was so much quicker.
Have a look. I mean, I've never seen overtake through that section. That's definitely a rare section. So, Emma going for Emma just staying behind here. And Kruger going out wide, Emma getting extremely good traction. And it looks like Emma just... Because it doesn't look like Emma is slowing down necessarily, so I think... Either that was a mistake on Samuel's part, or Emma might have just got an amazing traction through there. Amazing overtake. Not a lot that he's seen him, before El Rouge.
I'm thinking Kruger's just hanging on, trying to get a second place here. He's not going to battle Emma plate.
Yeah, it looked like he just gave him the respect he deserved there. And Speed typed in the chat that the points work like any other league.
Saturday lead points. Okay, but
That's good if you know how they work.
yeah, that's good if you know how they work, but we don't know how they work. So you saying that, like, it's kind of like me saying, you know, everything works like I do it in my way. Okay, great, but you guys don't know what my way is. But Kruger can't go too slow here because, of course, he does still have Rick Bittersley behind him. 2 seconds a lap, it's a lot to ask, or 2 seconds a minute it was. It's a lot to ask from Bittersley, but it's possible if Bittersley really puts his foot into it. We'll see. Already the gap between Plate and Kruger, 4.9 seconds. Yeah, definitely something else.
If they finish like they are, I think Godzilla might actually win the championship.
That would definitely be something for him. Really good driver Godzilla is as well. I would like to give you guys a bit of information here. Rick Bittersley on the previous lap actually 2 seconds faster than Kruger. So Kruger might have a genuine problem here. There's a slight problem. There's a slight chance, a very slight chance, may I say, that Kruger might have a problem here. We'll see if he does, of course. But yeah, that's
sure. Oh no, it's just the points haven't updated. It was showing a lap down, but the points are updated now.
Yeah, it was just the points.
Yeah, I think Kruger can hang on to second, and if not, he's certainly got third place locked up. I'm wondering if he didn't take tires and he just pitted for enough fuel to finish the race and ran with what he had started with.
That might have been a smarter move, and it looks like although Rick was fast, 2 seconds faster on that lap, it looks like it's equalized this lap. So whatever happened with Rick, definitely not ideal for him. So I think Kruger might have actually have that P2 secured. I think he might be extremely chuffed about that.
But yeah, it looks like there's 46 points separating first and second, Badalski and Godzilla.
And Marco Badalski finishing behind Godzilla. Godzilla actually squaring up Crawford here. Marco needs to... Even if Marco overtakes Godzilla, it won't really make a lot of a difference, will it? It won't, because Marco will need to at least overtake Crawford to get a chance of a championship. And I don't think that's going to happen. So I think Godzilla, if he is watching this, we're not going to... get your hopes up here, but if you're watching this, Mr. Kai Banks, you might be a championship winner of the...
Oh, and I was just notified that points from this race will be doubled.
Okay. Well, won't that put him further in the lead? That's the question, Nate. Wouldn't that theoretically still put him further in the lead?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Not sure. Someone do the math. Someone out there do the math, and let us know. Send us an email.
That's just hard, man.
Some people are just too good at maths, man. Some people are just too good at maths. I think we should hire them to work this all out for us. P10 then. Emil Sorsblom, sorry, being chased there by... I don't think he's being chased. I think that might be a lap Lamborghini. Emil, yeah, definitely not ideal race. It wasn't cause Nate, you know, an impact.
But he hung in there. He knows he's going to finish in the top 10 by the looks of it.
Definitely not what he would have wanted. I can tell you that. But Godzilla might actually want something new because he gets past. I think that's... Who's that? That is the Bentley from Rick Bittersley. Godzilla somehow, I don't know how, but somehow secured himself P4. And Marco Badalski, of course, hunting Rick Bittersley. This might end up... Holy crap. Oh no, Rick Bittersley, okay, so Rick Bittersley there does get overtaken by, looks like Badalski. So, Badalski now moving up. That's interesting. Can Badalski, because if those points are double, and Badalski gets ahead of Godzilla, there is still a slight chance he might still have a chance in this championship.
Well, I think at this point, with Badalski right behind Godzilla, and you see Banksy just sliding there.
Oh my word, losing that back end, definitely not what was on. That's 2 minutes after the race. This is their penultimate lap.
But I don't think Banksy could win it even with Badowski right behind him.
We'll have to see.
I think we might well be in line for an almost perfect in terms of drama next Saturday.
Well, this is the last race.
Oh gosh, okay.
It's the last race.
And
Rob, I thought I'd tell you, you're doing the interviews after this. Enjoy.
oh, thank you. Oh boy.
I have to go play FIFA, man. A bigger face.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Well, I do have FIFA to play.
It's looking very close between Marco and Godzilla at the moment, and yeah, I think Godzilla is actually struggling with the tyres on the big Nissan there.
I will give you an idea. Badowski last lap 2 seconds faster than Godzilla. So I think if Badowski does this move on the final lap of the race, which this should now be, ladies and gentlemen, we enter the final lap of round 7 of RWB's Balance of Power series. What an amazing season. If Badowski gets this move, which I think he might do on this next straight, he genuinely has a chance, Rob, of maybe taking his championship. We'll have a look what he can do.
Well, I think Badowski has it wrapped up right now, just where he's riding. So if you're him, do you take a chance and try and get around Banksy for the position?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He doesn't know, Nate, he doesn't know for sure that he has it, so every single position he can get, he will get. And there is your 2 championship leaders going alongside, Badowski having the better traction, but Godzilla saying, you are not getting this position just yet. Let's use the bravest breakers, and it is Badowski into P4, Godzilla down into P5. Ladies and gentlemen, that might have just been, and I'm pretty sure, if Nate's given us the right information, that might have just been a lead. The move that might have won Mr. Badowski the whole Balance of Power championship. What a race. Godzilla definitely not going to be very chuffed with himself on that. And
certainly want to interview after this.
Definitely no, but listen, I think, listen, Rob, to start messaging them right now. We want interviews. Ladies and gentlemen, as we go, I would say on board, we're just gonna get on our TV cameras here and we'll have a look at this man, MO Plate. He has played the cards right today. He has done what no one thought could be done, and he's done it absolutely brilliantly as he now gets into the final chicane here to win the Balance of Power Round 7 Spa race, I guess. In second, then right behind him, we have Mr. Crawford Brown, actually. Didn't expect that. I thought.
I think he's coming around a lap car. I think Richard Jones.
Yeah, I was about to say. Crawford then coming into second. Brilliant race from him as well. And then into third, we have Mr. Marco Badowski, who is going to be out of his shoes. He's going to be extremely happy. And right behind him, Samuel Kruger. I think Samuel...
No. I think Samuel... Sorry to butt in. I think Samuel's actually been passed by Godzilla as well.
He was.
At the end.
That's Godzilla P4 and Samuel P5. P6 then is Eddie Warden. P7 is Rick Bindersley. P8 Oliver Curtin. P9 Emil Sosblom, and P10 Magnus Dahlgren. We are going to wait for him to slowly get past, but I will initially, honestly, what a race. What a race. We said it would all come down to the last few laps, and boy it did, Rob, didn't it? It came down to the last few laps here.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Panda.
It just shows you these races, I mean, they just get more exciting every single time, man. And not that I'm counting, but we have 6 days, and then we have our Kyalami 9-hour, which have a lot of these drivers competing, which is going to be, I think, extremely fun to see all of these guys driving for 9 hours. We have said then P10 Magnus Dahlgren, P11 Jay Barton, P12 D Gretschel. Marco's already waiting for comments. He's a spry man there.
Oh, I've been mentioning it in them.
I definitely have a question.
Okay. Cheers.
I definitely have a question for Marco. I have one question, Rob, I promise. Only one.
No worries. You go ahead, mate. I'm going to drag Marco into commentary.
Okay, P14 there for... Sorry. P13 for Tyre, P14 for Agorist, P15 for Will, P16 for Owl, P17 for Brogna, P18 for Flack in the pits, P19 for Debug in the pits, Xavier in the pits as well, P20, P21 goes Sky, P22 R Jones, P23 Sojblom, and P24, I'm not quite sure who that is, Amir, P25 then goes Casper, yeah, P26 Jack, P27 Nigel, P28 Nico. Yeah, what a race. Your winner, of course, MO played today, but more importantly, your RWB Championship winner of the Balance of Power series, Mr. Marco Badowski. Welcome to the commentary booth.
Yes, baby. Oh, I'm so relieved.
Well done, Marco. That was great racing all season, man.
Thanks. Yeah, that was really a very tough race, strategy and racing wise, but I don't think I had the best strategy, but luckily over the other championship contenders I managed to build up enough of a lead to allow myself some errors.
So I presume you changed to wets and they just went off too quick.
No, I changed to wets, and when it stopped raining, the tire pressures got up to 35 or something and were dark red, so I knew it was probably faster to stay out, but I didn't want to take the risk of having a puncture, so I decided to pit and put in some qualifying laps.
And qualifying laps you did indeed. Marco, I do have to ask, you know, having a race like that, you know, getting past Godzilla, I mean, that must have been the most thrilling moment of your race, you know, seeing your championship rival right next to you and, you know, going down that straight and just somehow, you know, outbreaking him and taking that position. How was that? How did that feel, knowing, you know, this was, you know, this could have been the move for a championship. I could have just won the championship.
Felt really amazing, obviously. Godzilla and me did a bunch of close racing against each other, even though it wasn't all of that in this championship, but I think feeling safe around him is the wrong word, but I think I can trust him enough to, and I hope he trusts me as well, that none of us pull unnecessary stupid moves, or we Senna and Prost each other into the com section.
I hope so. I hope not so. I mean, it would be entertaining, to be quite fair. It would be really entertaining.
Not for us.
Not for you guys, but for us it would be. For us and all the viewers it would be. I think our friend Mr. Rob has some questions for you as well.
In all honesty, I'm still a little bit out of the loop with regards to the race this evening, because I only got home about half an hour ago and had to try and somehow get all my equipment sorted somehow, but I just wanted to say massive congratulations, Marco. And also, when you saw Godzilla in front of you, what was going through your mind at the time? Did you think that, okay, yeah, this is the whole championship on the line here, or just kind of like, how was it from your perspective?
To be fair, I didn't really do the calculations in terms of points, so I didn't really know whether it was necessary of me or for me to pass him on this race, but I didn't want to take any risks, to be fair.
We need an admin who has the calculated results really in here to officially...
I think we'll probably get one of them here in a second. We should. I mean, I imagined that they would be working quite heavily.
Yes, so I was just. So the only thing I really knew is if I finish in front of Godzilla, I win the championship. That was the only certain thing for me. So I tried to do that.
Yeah, and speaking of which, RWB Godzilla has also joined us in the commentary booth. Hello. As well.
Good to see he's in a good mood. Good to see he's in a good mood. Might not be as much arguing after.
That went from bad to worse to better. Nice one, Marco, man. Congrats, dude.
Yeah, thank you. Very nice racing in the beginning and towards the end.
Yeah, man.
Gents, I think we do have to ask. Are we going to see more of you two going head-to-head in the future? Are you guys planning to make this a regular occurrence, or is this a one-time show?
And next time I'm going to pit him in every first corner.
If it works for you.
Nah, man, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I joined it as well. So we've been going against each other for quite a while in previous season as well now, so I don't think both of us are on the grid that we will stop fighting against each other.
I look forward to it, man.
Same.
Definitely two brilliant drivers, you two. I do want to ask Kai, you know, it's going to be a bit mean to ask you this, I guess, but, you know, when you saw Marco, you know, behind you and he's just closing and eating at you, you know, what was running through your head? You know, at that point, you know, of course you're stressing because, you know, you've got the championship, to be decided. You know, what was running through your head? What were you thinking?
Well, to start off with, when we come out of the pits, I seen him in the pit lane, and I thought, as long as I knew that I had to finish 4 positions in front of Marco to beat him. That was the deficit in the charts. If I beat him by 4 positions, I would have took the win off of him. So when he was 4 positions back, I had a bit of a grin, and then I seen it like coming down. But I'm not very quick on Spa. I'll admit that. I mean, everyone knows that because I've verbalized it enough. I'm crap on Spa, and that GTR hates Spa also. I had a really hard job to keep the car straight and narrow on that track. It was just, in the words of Red Bull, damage limitation, I suppose. But I did want to finish in front of him. Like I did try. I thought I'll finish in front of you on this race, but it just wasn't to be. Got held up by a couple of back markers or on wets and stuff like that. But you know, you can't do nothing about that.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, it's honestly, we can once again. I want to reiterate. Sorry, I cannot speak. Yeah, but I want to say, you know, what Rob said is what a race. It was really an absolutely amazing race, and I don't think that that whole championship could have been decided in any better way. But yeah, no, for you both, honestly, well done this race. It was an absolutely amazing race to watch. I do just want to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard was it deciding on your strategy for the wet, for that, you know, 10, 15, 20-minute period of rain? How hard was that on the strategy?
Not that hard, really. Just you could see it there. Well, in a way, the weather's been playing up a little bit, where sometimes when it moves over, it reads something different than what it did 30 minutes ago. So it say it's going to rain in 30 minutes, but then it disappeared, a cloud. I don't know if you noticed that through the thing, and it disappeared. So it was a little bit of a gamble, but then I waited as long as I could, and then seen that, yeah, it's not going to rain any longer. Just grin and bear the slicks for what, 10, maybe 15 minutes, and let the people go by that chose wets, and then later on they're gonna have 20 minutes of roasting hot tires, and you managed to like get those places back. So it wasn't. I say a 70-30 gamble, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Sorry, you go first, or you go on?
No, that's all right. I've spoken enough. Sorry, it's good.
The main thing about my strategy was, since I had a comfortably like 15 seconds roundabout when we were on the first stint, then so if the race would have stayed dry all along, I had enough of a buffer to pit again for a new set of tires and not lose the position to you. But however, since it started raining, I knew no matter what happened, I could just copy yours, the lap you're going in, and whatever, and what else, and the gap would roughly stay the same.
Yeah.
However, in the second pit stop with the wet tires on the dry track, I was really afraid to get a puncture, so I decided to play it safe.
Yeah, you're better off. I mean, the people that stayed on wet, so every time I went by, I was like, how do those wets feel?
I do want to ask real quick, Rob, Cos, do you guys have any more questions?
No, but our race winner, Mo Plates, has joined us in the commentary box as well.
Hi.
First of
Hi,
all,
guys.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It was an interesting race.
Yeah, it's certainly. Well, admittedly, I didn't see all that much of it myself, but blimey, it didn't half look interesting. With changeable conditions, wet to dry and dry to wet and everything else. And yeah, we've just been chatting with Marco and Godzilla about kind of strategy. How was it from your perspective?
Well, I saw that it was going to rain, but yeah, it said it was only a short shower, according to the preview. But yeah, so I just gambled to go to stay on the slicks, and after that, I wasn't sure about it if it was a good choice, but yeah, thankfully it stopped raining after some time, and then yeah, I could continue and catch the leaders again. But it was kind of a gamble.
Yeah, well done, man.
Worked. Definitely worked.
Well done, man. Really
Yeah,
nice
thank
race
you.
from you.
Yeah.
When it got to like 20 minutes near the end and it still seemed like it's not going to dry out. That was the only time when I thought slicks was a bad idea, because it didn't seem like it was going to dry out, did it? And then all of a sudden the sun come out and it just dried out. It's like, oh, thank God for that.
Yeah, exactly. And then the temperature came into the tires, and then it was perfect.
Yeah.
Gents, I do have a question for you guys. You know, for all of you. I do, think. Did you guys enjoy the season? You know, having all of these battles. You know, of course, Emma, we've seen a lot of performances from you as well. Absolutely brilliant performances. Not just from Marco and Godzilla. But would you three say you enjoyed the Ballast Power League?
Yeah, I think it was a great season. It's really fun to race with all of you guys, because everybody is driving so respectfully, and yeah, that makes the racing really a lot of fun. And you get to know the other drivers a bit, so you know what to expect, and it makes it really good fun to race here.
Ditto.
Yeah, same for me. It was really interesting to have this kind of a league format with the split qualifying between the tiers. So so I have to put quite a bit more emphasis on nailing a qualifying lap straight out of the pits, and it was really interesting to have ballast for some races too, so you have an excuse if you don't win.
Yeah, wow. As if you need one. As if you need one.
My excuse is I'm driving the GTR.
No one forced you to.
Yeah, no one forced you to.
I know. I'm. You all know me. I'm a fanboy, so.
Yeah.
So will you convert? Sorry, Rob. Are you going to convert away from the GTR anytime soon, Kai?
I'm thinking about the Audi next. I mean, the Carl Army were stuck in the GTR now, but for the next couple of things, like the Constructors' Championship, I'll be in the Audi GT3 for the second part of that, and for the Monza Big Grid, I'll be in the Audi. We give that a go. Give a mid-engine a go.
Yes, good choice. Rob,
Yeah,
you wanted to say?
Yeah, so as I say, because I know we've got the final GT4 race of the Constructors' Championship coming up on Tuesday at Misano. And I just want to say that I know I haven't commentated on all of the races, but from what I have commentated on it, it's been an absolutely barnstorming season. Just absolutely fantastic. So massive props to everyone for just how good the driving's been, how quick everyone's been, and and everything really.
I do think. Sorry, Kai, go ahead.
If you're in a KTM, yeah.
No, genuinely, guys, I do think, from our side, I think that, just finishing off Ballast Power, and season 2 this year, of course. Wow, it's been a long year. Honestly, brilliant driving for all you gents. Really, really, really amazing. As Rob said, I think we all can't wait to see what happens in GT4 and the Constructors. Hopefully we see some more good racing. Otherwise we'll just see Kai just punting you, Marco. I do apologize.
I'd never punt. I'd never punt Marco.
You
Not
just
on
send him to the
purpose.
shower realm.
When it happens, it happens. It's a part of racing.
Out of like plate, Badowski and me, we can race side by side all day long, man. We know what each other's up to. So if anything ever happens, it's never been on purpose. You know what I mean? We might rub doors here and there, but
It's rubbing is racing. That's something
exactly.
I believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to ask Mr. Rob, Mr. Cost, do you guys have any more questions?
No, I mean, that's. I just want to say well done, everybody. What a brilliant season, and keep it up.
Did you commentate, Cos?
Well, if you could call it that. I would never get any wages for it, but
I was commentated.
Fair play,
I
man.
did my best.
Best was enough. Gents, once again, from our side, thank you guys so much. Marco Badowski, of course, ladies and gentlemen, your championship winner. Well done, Marco.
Thanks.
I don't know if you want a virtual trophy or something. Send you an emoji, I guess. Have a talk about that.
You get a reach around later.
Yeah.
Kai, from your, to you as well. It was a tough last race, but you can finally get out of GTR and drive something properly. But brilliant racing from you as well, man. It's been an honor commentating. Really had fun. And then Plate as well. What a race. We've seen some magnificent race from you. So hopefully we can see you in that championship contention sometime soon. But yeah, absolutely amazing, all of you. Now, because it is the season end, all three of you gents, Mo, Mr. Marco, and Mr. Kai, you have exactly 3 seconds that I'm timing to say something to each other, say something to the audience, to say something to the admins who, I did all of this. Thank you very much, admins, by the way, from my side. You have 3 seconds each. Mo, go.
Congrats, Marco, with the win for the championship. Really well done. And organization, really well organized, really nice format. And to the audience, see you at the next race.
Can't really say more than that, can you? Really? Thanks for doing the commentating and stuff like that. Admins doing a good league and stuff. So can't really say more than that.
Well, thank you, and yeah, thank you, and looking forward to the next races. Obviously, goodbye.
Already ending the stream for me. I should just leave it there. Stream. That's fine. That's fine.
You only got 3 seconds. Just follow the bottom of the map.
Bye.
Full Eminem.
All it is. But yeah, no, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, everyone, honestly, round of applause, although Discord noise suppressions you won't be able to hear it, but on to everyone racing in the season. I know we have a lot of people still watching this who raced, and I'll probably echo it in the chat, in the league chat as well. Well done, guys. You really deserved every single bit of this. Brilliant season. Amazing racing. Thank you guys so much. And thank you for everyone who was watching. We have really appreciated. Do appreciate some of the commentaries that were a bit dodgy. We didn't always have people here, but we should have that fixed for the next season. For myself, I think Mr. Rob, Nate, Cos, the admins, Charger, whoever, the whole RWB team, thank you all so much for being here, competing, for racing, for liking, for disliking, for subscribing. Hopefully, if you haven't already, press the button. But yeah, no, we do appreciate. For those who haven't already yet, join the RWB Discord. I promise it's fun. You can ask Marco and Kai. I hope they'll agree. Yeah, no, we do really appreciate. And yeah, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy. And from the RWB side, we do really appreciate you guys staying here. And we will see you guys in our next races. And then, of course, don't forget about our Ilami 9 hour. Holds a special place in my heart. I have to say it. I'll talk to you guys a bit later. Have a great one. Don't do anything stupid.